This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports in Chaco. We're here at Glean and we're here with Northern Ireland's latest professional boxer, Gerard Hughes. How are you, Gerard?
I'm all good, mate. How's yourself?
The usual, I guess. We're in the come down from obviously another fight week in Belfast. We've sort of seen you training here in Glean a few times, but obviously never thought anything of it because you can train amateurs and professionals. How long have you been sort of holding on to the fact you were turning pro?
I've sort of been in the work from about January time. We're just waiting for everything to be confirmed, really, with manager and stuff like that, with Kevin and stuff, and then the boxing board. So once everything was sort of in place, and Kevin announced it, that way.
And it sort of came as a shock because sometimes we would know in the off, and sometimes if something's sort of happening. But it sort of was a nice wee Monday morning sort of buzz to get there, and obviously another new pro. For obviously anybody obviously doesn't know you, I guess more than anything we mostly focus on professional boxing, so sometimes you don't know so much of the amateurs. How long have you been boxing for?
I think I've been boxing from about 9 or 10. 9 or 10. I started actually down in Scorpion in Ballymoney. Boxed there for a few years. I wasn't really taking it seriously. I was just taking fight by fight, and then I moved to Belfast in 2016 and went basically full time. I've moved away from home and lived down there, and boxed in the Immaculata and Holy Family, and got good learning there. So yeah.
And obviously, I guess the pandemic sort of didn't help a lot of people within amateur boxing. What sort of was it now that decided that now was the time to turn pro?
Well, you see, I was even talking to Dee and stuff, and talking to a few of my mates that are in the high level amateur circuit. Like, everything was tied up, so I was just sort of waiting about. And you sort of, when you're in the amateurs, it's the amateur boards that sort of put on the tournaments and stuff. So you're waiting for them to put tournaments on. So I sort of decided going pro, taking it in, to my own hands, and doing it all myself, really. So I think it'll suit me more, especially even for when coming, like organising your training and stuff. You don't know. Like, I was training there for a while and didn't know what I was doing, what was coming up. So at least I know whenever there's dates and stuff coming up, I can work towards, and you can put in, like proper camps. That way.
We were sort of speaking to Dee, obviously, at the Redemption show at the weekend, and we were sort of saying, like, even professional boxing nowadays, it's not like you're jumping straight in the deep end. You're obviously going to have a few learning fights and things like that. So it's a good time to sort of adjust. You don't need to have, elite amateur experience, sort of. You don't have to be an Olympian or anything like that to progress in the sport. We've seen, obviously, world champions with relatively novice experience as well. But obviously, I guess the thing is if you don't turn over, you never know what you're going to do.
Yeah, 100%. It was like even training up here with all these lads. Like, I've been here for about 18 months, and even just training up here, I've probably learned more training up here in the past 18 months than I have my whole boxing career. So again, I can't actually wait to put what I've learned up here into fights, that way, and show people what I've learned and stuff.
And there's obviously some buzz about Glean as well. Obviously, you've obviously Potty and Lewis and Lee Reeves obviously was out there in Canada, and obviously Colin Murphy. It's the three fights within 8-9 months. So I'm guessing obviously you're getting the buzz from the gym as well. So I'm guessing obviously this day turning pro just couldn't come quick enough.
100%. Even training, like, I was training with all the lads over that, and even seeing how they train and how they prepare for fights. You can only learn from that and bring it in to your own training. And a lot of them lads, like you've Potty and Lewis, like, they're fighting on fringe world level, so if you can train with them, pick up wee things from them, then a pro debut, yes, it's all learning, but it's learning in the gym too. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was buzzing to get it announced. It was.
And obviously you're originally from Ballycastle as well.
I'm originally from Belfast, but my family moved up to Ballycastle about 15 years ago.
So Carl Douglas will still be saying he's the one from the North Coast then?
I know I'm the North Coast now. He'll be saying I'll be weighing him up. No, Big Carl. Me and Big Carl sort of on the North Coast there when it comes to professional boxing. He obviously has his thing with the whole Polish Queensbury, but I have to weigh Big Carl up. So he's not in here today, but don't know where he is. He's mental.
He must be sleeping somewhere, you know. And I know he's have a bit back and forth. Everybody does on Instagram. You know, he's saying he was out training, you were sleeping or something the other day. So the banter keeps it going.
100%. It's good to have that, but a wee bit of stick. You know, it motivates you a wee bit more, especially when Carl's a big lad. So even when Carl comes down and trains and like he's in body sparring and stuff, you have to be switched on. And Carl, before him, he's a workhorse. Like even when we're up and we'll be doing the odd training session in Ballycastle sprints and stuff, he pushes you like. So it's good to have that as well up there because it's not a big boxing town. So to get that up there, to get that push, it's good. Like it benefits me.
And obviously, I know it's a silly question to ask, but why the setup with D?
Like again, as I said, I just started doing 1-to-1s with D. I was still in my old amateur club, and it was just the learning. Like it was the learning with D, and then coming in and training with the lads as well. Again, like I've learnt more in that past 18 months than I have just training here. Never mind the fighting experience and all on top of that. So no, D. I think he probably has one of the best pro and amateur stables in the country at the minute. You know, he's on fire at the minute. You know, and his system, and even his system of coaching, starting to sort of show that it works. You know, that way. So 100%. He's a good coach. Like.
I guess for you as well, obviously, if you have a coach that's been there and done it, obviously when times get tough in the ring and things like that, he knows the right things to say, and you know everybody's obviously worked with. Like I've been impressed with Colin Murphy because when Colin was obviously an amateur, he seemed to use his head a lot. They block punches. Obviously, on Saturday night, we obviously seen that the progression he's made in a short time with Colin as well. So you know, for any sort of person turning over, probably D's the first person probably anybody will look at.
100%. Like even with me, even like with my training and sparring and stuff, like I've like a lot of the lads are saying I've come on a good bit, you know. And then you watch Callan, like it's not even like people are just talking about it. You're seeing it, you know, in fights, fighters in here coming on leaps and bounds fight by fight, you know. And again, D has that fighting experience, so he knows what works and he knows what doesn't, you know, because he's been there and done it. And D's sort of style as well, he sort of tries and embeds that into us too. So no, he's a cracking coach, like.
And obviously signing with Kevin Marie. For obviously anybody, we sort of talked before we started here, but for anybody that sort of doesn't know, Kevin Marie was a sort of linchpin behind the start of Carl Frampton's career. Obviously things didn't turn out the way it did, or he'd sort of been well known for it. But how did the link up with Kevin come about?
There was a few. I was actually talking to a few at the time. I spoke to Kevin first, and Kevin says go and talk about. I did a few different, you know, managers, promoters, and and then. It was sort of just the way the things Kevin was saying. It was what I wanted, and he's a gentleman too. Even, you know, he couldn't do enough for you, you know, and then the whole history, you know, he sort of was in there with the start of Frampton's career as well. So loads of fighters, and he's experienced. He knows what way to build fighters. So you know, no, I think I've went with the right person. He's based in Manchester too, so again, there's that link to Manchester to have fights over there and whatever. Not only over here, but in Manchester.
And obviously Kevin Marie is a link up with Boxing Ireland Promotions as well, so I'm guessing obviously if Boxing Ireland are having shows here, you know, Kevin doesn't seem like you just stick to his shows. Like if Mark Dunlop was doing a show or Jamie Collin was doing a show, there's the opportunity for you to sort of work with other shows as well.
100%. Even he has a link with Boxer and Sky Sports. He's a few of the fighters in the stable on it too. So no, he suppose you're probably, when you're looking to manage, you want the manager with a load of contacts, you know, to get you into a certain position. So no, Kevin, he was a good pick for me personally, you know.
And what weight class are you going to be? I know at the start, obviously you're not probably campaigning at the weight class you're going to be, but what weight class are you going to campaign at?
Bantamweight or super bantamweight, probably at the start super bantamweight, and then for obviously whenever you start going up and getting into the longer fights, bantamweight, you know, where they mean a wee bit more. So yeah, bantamweight or super bantamweight.
And when are you hoping to make your debut?
There's a few dates that he has in mind. So again, that's Kevin. Once Kevin gives me the go ahead, I'd be ready to go. You know, summertime hopefully. You know, just a few more things to be cleared, and then that's us. We're flying.
And finally, obviously turning over pro. Obviously, a lot of it comes down to costs and things like that nowadays. I'm sure you're sort of now trying to wreck your head to sort of get sponsors on board.
Yeah, well, I have a good few sponsors in Ballycastle that support me well. Again, listen. So it's even being with a few of the lads up here, you know, sponsors are a big part to playing it. I have my own PT business, do a bit of part-time PTing. But yeah, obviously, listen, you're always open to sponsors and getting that bit of extra help. So yeah, 100%. I'm always open to sponsorships, you know, that way.
Is there any sponsors you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, so the guy I PT in the gym, he helps me out, NMK Gym. He's helped me out massively, and he's always supported me from even amateur as well. So yeah, 100% NMK Gym, Ballycastle.
Fantastic. Well, Gerard, listen, thanks very much for your time. Obviously, we'll look forward to getting some fight news, and I'm sure we'll catch up again soon.
Perfect, man. Thank you very much. Thank you.